freedom, a right that was given to mankind by God. Freedom may mean different things to different people. However, the one thing that we can agree on is the importance in this world and that the United States was founded on this God-given right. Freedom is the most fundamental aspect of the United States culture, and in order to protect this aspect, we must have people who guard these freedoms. This is where the FBI comes into place. Having studied criminology for over 3 years in my pursuit of a bachelor's at Liberty University, I have learned quite a bit of information about the Department of Homeland Security, which the FBI is a part of, and their fight for freedom against terrorist organizations. Those that protect us have been tasked for a never-ending job. Their authority is appointed by God, so those that are given this authority must instill all aspects of God's values. During this speech, we will go over the importance of the FBI's mission and speak on why the FBI is important to instill God's values, not only in the laws that are made by man, but also set an example for future generations to find their way to God. By doing this, it will help keep the United States on the righteous path that God has set before us. But first, let's take a closer look at what the FBI actually does. The FBI's main focus is to protect the United States and assist other law enforcement agencies in this regard as well. According to NAPIC, the FBI is charged with upholding and enforcing the criminal laws of the United States, protecting the United States against terrorist and foreign intelligence threats, and providing law enforcement and investigational leadership and services to federal, state, municipal, and international agencies and partners. The importance of mentoring and leading by example is a pivotal aspect of the FBI. By learning from those that came before the future FBI agents will exhibit the strong qualities of their predecessors. Wong says, findings confirm the theoretical proposition that the mentoring component of the ALSP supported the development of leadership skills in mentees as CJIS, and the mentors exhibit the traits of transformational leadership. Which brings me to my second point, that God appoints those among us that are in authoritative positions. In the Bible book, Romans 13, verses 1 through 2, let every person be subject of the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. As further proof, the hiring process of all FBI agents is a long process. The FBI looks for several things about a person during the hiring process that shows only those that follow God's values get selected. Mueller says character, a person's general attitude, trustworthiness, reliability, and discretion. Other values include people's feeling towards prejudice, loyalty, and associates that they are affiliated with. Also, once the new agents begin their initial training, they must visit the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum to see firsthand what can happen when law enforcement fails to protect individuals. My final point, those who have been appointed into authority by God instill all of God's values and laws. In Matthew, verse 9, it says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. These FBI agents have been appointed by God to do his work and to protect his people. In Romans 13, verse 4, it says, for he is God's servant, for your good, but if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is the servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. This shows that they not only have God's values, but they also enforce God's laws. In conclusion, laws have been put into place by God and by man in order to protect all of us. In order to protect us, there must be authorities, figures appointed in order to enforce these laws. They must be the very best of mankind, and meaning they will need to have God's values instilled in them. For there is no greater sacrifice than giving of oneself. The Bible says in John 15, verse 13, greater love has no one than that someone lay down his life for his friends. These FBI agents not only instill the best of mankind, but they also are role models to future generations. John F. Kennedy once said, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. And by setting a fundamental standard, the FBI can help to ensure that God's values are continued to be inherited by all future generations. Theodore Roosevelt once said that there are good men and bad men in all of nationalities, creeds, and colors. And if this world of ours is ever to become what we hope someday it may become, it must be by the general recognition that the man's heart and soul, the man's worth and actions determine his standing. Thank you. And that concludes my speech.
That's 16.
I know I had to start slowing down.
12, but 6:12, you started 2 seconds after.
Yeah,
You finished at 6:14.
looked at